what's going on YouTube? Welcome back to System Triple Point and Friend. I am Friend, and today I am again joined by
Marlai.
And if you don't remember, or maybe you didn't watch my last video, what are you doing? Go watch the last video. It's a good video. I drank tea and we talked about stuff.
I said ballad a lot.
You did. And you're gonna do it again.
Yeah.
Today we're going to be expanding on what stims are and also talking about the importance of both the normalization of weird or gross stims, as well as talk about accessibility in regards to both physical and mental disabilities. We'll start with the stims, I guess.
Yeah.
Too sick. What are some of the stims that maybe you do that you kind of get weirder looks for, or that you used to do?
I think the biggest one is echolalia and any auditory stims, because
Echolalia
is stimming, like auditory stimming using your voice or your mouth, or like anything that comes out of your face hole to create sound that is nice.
Yeah.
So that could be like repeated words or repeated sounds, or
I do tongue clicking.
Yeah.
I do that all the time.
Yeah. Humming is technically a form of echolalia. The most like stereotypical one that you'll hear about is like people repeating words or sentences over and over again, or maybe just even vocalizing, just like making noise with their mouth to just like hear a sound. But yeah, that one gets a lot of weird looks because it is something that people notice a bit easier, because like they can hear it clearly and can often like bug some people, but like it
doesn't bug me.
Yeah, but like some neurotypical.
Oh.
Those neurotypicals.
Those neurotypicals. What wacky fellows.
Yeah. Oh, okay, so stims that could potentially cause harm to the body.
Oh my god. Yeah.
Yeah. We have some notes up here, and we have written in all caps.
All caps, if I could.
Self-harm and stimming are two different things.
Because they are. Self-harm is intentional, and the intention is to
cause harm. For
whatever reason. Whereas with stimming, it's literally like, it's still an intentional act, but it's not something that's like,
it's not because
I want to punish myself, or I want to feel something. It's like, this is something that helps me to feel happy.
Yeah, and it helps to regulate the input of like your surroundings, and it helps to regulate your mood and emotions so that you maintain stable. And it's not done for
stability is nice.
Yeah, stability is a good word for it.
Yeah.
But it is not done with like an intention of I need to cause myself harm for whatever reason.
Right.
But like examples of that could be like scratching or hitting or hair pulling. Yeah, just like but hair pulling. My younger brother, he's on the spectrum, like diagnosed, and he had a problem for a long time with hitting his head against a wall when he was like frustrated. And not like in a jokey way, like you might think like I'm banging my head against the wall, but like he would actually do it. I often will like palm my head, or I have like I scratch the back of my hand a lot. Chewing on my lips, I do that all the time. Yeah, those often get weird looks.
Other types of stims that are often like, I guess not looked down upon, but are found to be irritating, are like heavy rocking.
Yeah.
Or like hand flapping.
But those are like the big motions that help with like processing of your like position in space and your motion through space. Which have big fancy words, but I forget what they are. And also rocking and flapping are often, and also echolalia are the ones that are most often portrayed in media. If they just want to like a scapegoat to like display that a character is neurodivergent real quick, they'll just have them like flap their hands a lot or rock a lot. Or
I did a video about stigma, and this is
part of the stigma surrounding
part
autism
of
spectrum disorder.
Yeah.
Because I feel like a lot of the time if someone is stimming, the uneducated person will automatically lump them into having
Yeah, ASD.
autism.
Yeah.
Which is incorrect.
Mm.
I, as far as I know, don't have ASD. I don't believe that I present the symptoms of it. Well, the symptoms that I have will not necessarily lead to a diagnosis of ASD.
Yeah.
But I still stim. And
everyone stims to some degree.
Right, exactly. So it's not like something that is solely for people on the spectrum. Jaw cracking?
Yes, okay. So, I was telling...
They were doing this earlier, and I was like, is that the sound of your, like, sleeve? They were doing this, and I was like, is that the sound of your sleeve, like, just snapping, like, in the air? And they were like, no, that's my elbow. I was like,
yeah.
Jesus
Christ. One of my, like, stimmy things is joint cracking. I crack my knuckles a lot.
Sorry, go on.
I crack my knuckles a lot. I crack my ankles a lot, my knees. I just enjoy cracking my joints. I'll often, like, crack my joints even if I know they're not gonna pop. Like, I'll do the motion over and over again. And I can also pop my elbow really easily. I probably won't do it on camera just because,
Please
like...
don't.
if it made you uncomfortable.
I love you and I support your forms of stimming,
yeah.
But I'm gonna ask you to not do it.
But yeah, it's just like a repeated arm movement that when I do it fast enough pops my elbow, which is nice because it combines flapping stims with cracking joint stims, so that's nice.
Something that I just thought of. Mm-hmm. ASD is a neurological disorder, correct? Yeah. What is the difference between, and not to lump stimming and autism together all the time, but what is the difference between stimming and tics?
Oh, I know about that.
Because I think that, and I know the answer, but
yeah.
I'm just saying, like, that's something that...
That's an interesting one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Should we talk about that?
Yeah.
Okay. So, Colleen just brought up the idea of the difference between stimming and tics. And if you don't know what tics are often associated with, like, people with Tourette's or other compulsory behavior, like, neurological disorders, but primarily Tourette's. And they can often look very similar, but the main difference is that, like, tics are usually, like, compulsory and, like, you have little to no control over them. They often come in waves.
It's often described, I myself don't have Tourette's, but it's often described as, like, an itch.
Yeah, like an itch.
Like, if you try to ignore it, it just gets worse.
Mm-hmm.
And
where
it's kind of like that with
gotta do.
my compulsions, too.
Yeah, that's why tics are often associated with other compulsive disorders, like OCD, but, like, primarily Tourette's. But, like, I've seen people with Tourette's who have, like, tic attacks where, like, for like a solid, like, 20 minutes they just can't stop ticking.
Yeah.
And then there's, like, the more stereotypical where, like, they're doing their normal daily lives and suddenly they, like, scream something.
Yeah.
In most like stigmatized media, it's usually profanity,
which is actually very rare, I believe. If I'm not mistaken. Yeah,
it's usually very rare. And usually it's not, like, in my experience with, like, people I know with Tourette's, it's usually not just a word. It's usually, like, a phrase or sentence.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah. I just wanted to touch on that a little bit because I think that there's a lot of confusion.
A lot of people get this mixed up.
Yeah.
Stimming is for self, like, moderation and self, like...
homeostasis.
Yeah. And it's just for, like, moderating your sensory input, while tics are more of a compulsion or, like, an itch that needs to be scratched.
People
and you
have
don't have control over them.
I have more control over my stimming than I do my compulsions.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Because
I often need to stim after I have compulsions.
Yeah.
Because my
stimming is mostly, like, anxiety. A comfort thing.
Stimming is a big
like
comfort
thing, while tics are not as much a comfort thing as much as they are, like, something I need to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. What else do we got?
Chewing stims, or, like, oral stims in general.
Yeah.
Those are often very, I just got a Chewy pendant that should be here in a few days. I can't wait.
Yeah.
I'm so pumped.
I also have some like chewing based stems. I don't really like the kind of pendants that Colleen is getting personally because it's a bit too hard of a plastic. But
the one I'm getting is apparently good for like moderate chewers, but it's also like soft, and I'm like,
ooh, yeah,
I'm here for it. I can't
but
wait.
I've had fabric chew toys before, like chew stem toys.
Yeah.
I had one that was like braided felt material that was really nice, or not felt. What am I thinking?
I don't like felt.
Yeah, it wasn't felt. If it was felt, I would have died.
Touch immersion.
I wanna. I can't remember what fabric it was. It was a very like soft, giving fabric. Like, it wasn't silk. I want to say it was like a t-shirt material type thing.
Cotton.
Yeah, probably it was just cotton, but I can't remember specifically. But it was like a braided, probably cotton fabric, like rod thing that was like really nice to chew on.
Love that.
Especially since like when I was younger, I would chew on the collars of my shirt a lot.
They would get frayed.
Yeah, they would get frayed or they'd get stretched, and then I'd be like walking around with a cold spot on my shirt.
Love that.
But yeah, chewing stems, other like oral stems, like again chewing on your lip or like chewing gum is a bit more normalized.
Because
everyone chews gum.
Yeah.
I noticed like one that I've seen a few people do is like opening your jaw so you pop your eardrums because it's like an oral and auditory stem. Yeah.
I don't do it necessarily like as a stem, but I just do it when my ears are.
Yeah, but I know some people who do it as a stem, just opening their jaw really wide so it pops.
Textures are also a big one.
But yeah, texture is a big thing for me, especially with fabrics. Like if something's a bad fabric, I'm not gonna wear it. Crushed velvet is literally the worst.
What do you think about sand? I feel like sand with people who like stem.
It's very like
usually is like it's controversial.
It's very like
I personally love sand.
I like kinetic sand. I don't like.
I have kinetic sand. I brought kinetic sand from home. I took it out of the box and my dad was like, "What the hell?"
Break out that bad boy. Oh
yes.
Look at that.
This is turning into an ASMR video real
honestly,
quick. If the camera falls over, I'm gonna cry. It took us so long.
Good one for the bloopers.
Shut up. This is going in the bloopers. Me playing with kinetic sand is going in the bloopers. Me trying to... Ow.
Do you need help?
I feel like a tendon in my wrist just like moved. Why do you do this to me?
It didn't harden up too much, did it?
Kinetic sand doesn't harden.
It can. I've seen it happen. Some like cheap kinetic sands are made with like.
Okay, but this is the OG kinetic sand.
Okay.
So I'm just taking out a little bit. I love kinetic sand.
Me too. I'm also gonna take out a little bit.
Do it. We're gonna play with this for the rest of the video.
Fuck yeah.
Some other textures that I really like are like the cloth. I don't even know like what type of cloth it was. But it was so nice. I miss that blanket so much. It probably was like sent to a Goodwill. So like somebody got it.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I also
benefiting, but at the same time like
I want it back.
Yes.
But I also had a similar thing with like a blanket I had from from childhood.
Gonna back up a little bit.
But when I was a kid, I had this blanket that my mom made me. I still have it like back home where I am from, in California, and the like border of the blanket was made of this like particular type of silk, and I can't find that same kind of silk. It was like a weird kind of silk, but like I had this weird stem when I was a kid that I never realized was a stem until like a few years ago, where like I loved the feeling of rubbing my thumbnail against the silk. I don't know why. It was just like the most soothing thing for me.
I thought you were gonna say you liked like rubbing your thumbnail against like wood or something.
No.
I was like,
no, just like the back
I can feel that in my eardrum.
The back of my
Just
thumbnail
thinking about
against the silk fabric felt like really soothing to me when I was a child.
I love that.
Yeah, I don't know why though.
That's okay.
I don't like slime.
I have a complicated relationship with slime.
I like butter slime. Butter slime is very similar to kinetic sand.
Okay. I'll take your word for
Yeah.
it. But the other thing we wanted to talk about was accessibility
Yeah.
for physical and mental disabilities. And the question I kind of wanted to start off with for the both of us is like, do you consider your mental illness or your mental illnesses as a disability?
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, and I can speak very well to this considering that I have a physical disability, which most people would consider a real disability. But I have mobility issues because of like deformities in my legs. I know what it's like to have a real disability.
Biggest air quotes literally ever.
No, but I know what it's like to have a physical disability, and I can compare it to what it's like to have a mental disability, and they're just as impactful.
Oh yeah.
Because, like, it's so hard having a physical disability, and it's equally hard having a mental disability. They're, like, the same level of shitty. But, yeah, I would very much consider mine a disability. It greatly impacts my life, and it makes life a lot harder, and it limits my ability to live a normal life, or, like, normal, but...
There are days when I can't get out of bed because my anxiety and depression are at such a level where all I want to do is sleep and or die. Like
yeah. Yeah.
So I would consider mine a disability.
Yeah.
So just talking about like accessibility in that regard, what do you think? Because obviously, I'm not going to say that there are a lot of accessible places for people with physical disabilities because there aren't nearly enough. Did you see that headline that's like, good-hearted like barber gives haircut to man in a wheelchair outside of his shop? It's like there's nothing like kind-hearted about that. Just like put a ramp. Make it wheelchair accessible.
If you can't put a ramp, like at least get like a forklift or something, like one of those like little lifts.
Oh, I thought you meant like
no, like the tractor ones. No, but I've seen like people have like little lifts for wheelchairs outside of their businesses if they can't like have a ramp because of like spacing requirements.
Yeah.
But like there have been steps to make accessibility better for physically disabled people, but we're not quite there yet.
Yeah. And I feel like people with mental disabilities are...
Some of the best accommodations I've seen have happened to be at like UU churches. Like if I start having a problem where I need to like take a break, there is a room specially set aside for me to calm down in. So that's one example.
There are lots of accessibility in regards to like anxiety and depression isn't exactly like...
It's not very easily defined.
It's not easily defined. I would like define it more as accommodation rather than accessibility. And I talked about this a little bit, but even in like day-to-day life, having like accommodations is really important. Not that it's like, oh, I'm so special. It's literally like I cannot function on the same level as someone without my condition. So something needs to be put in place so that I will be given the same chance to succeed as someone who isn't in my position.
Oh, trigger warnings.
Fuck.
Trigger warnings are big for accessibility to people with mental disabilities, especially trauma-related mental disabilities. If you're making a piece of media or content and you don't have like a trigger warning on it for any potential triggers that you know of, like if you miss a lesser known one, then that's fine. But like if you're missing the really common ones, then you should like put them. Just try and protect as many people as you can from this kind of thing if you are making a media that you know has something triggering in it.
Yeah. Because discomfort is good. Feeling unsafe is an issue.
Exactly. If something is going to trigger you, don't participate in it. But if it's not going to trigger you, it'll just make you uncomfortable, then don't limit yourself from it because it's important.
Yeah, because the thing about trigger warnings is, like, it doesn't necessarily, like... I'm not necessarily always going to excuse myself from the activity. I'm just able to mentally prepare myself to emotionally handle, like, whatever it is. Like, if I'm not mentally, emotionally prepared to talk about certain things or I'm in a bad place, then talking about certain things is very difficult for me and could very well send me into a flashback. And nobody wants that. So, yeah.
So trigger warnings are pretty big for
Trigger warnings
accessibility.
are huge for accessibility.
Yeah.
In conclusion, don't be a dick.
Yeah.
Stimming is normal.
Stimming is chill. All the cool kids are doing it. Don't be mean to people.
There is
they're
no
taking care of
invalid
themselves.
form of stimming.
All stimming is valid.
And
Just keep stimming. Would
I'm
you like to?
hungry.
Do you want to go get 7-Eleven food or something?
Yes.
Let's go to
Can we do
7-Eleven.
that?
Yeah.
Thank God. Bye, guys.
Bye.
We'll see you next time.